What up, everybody? Vinny Cuz here. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you to all those that have subscribed to the channel. We have finally broke through 500 subs, which in the grand scheme of things really ain't that great. But you guys are tuning in, and I appreciate that. And I'd appreciate it if you would share the videos, comment, likes, because without the comments, I mean, we can't make this thing go. So what we're going to do today is we're going to catch you guys up on my earnings for the month of June. My last video, I mean, it's slow out there. It really is. But I think I've made the adjustment necessary to kind of limit some of my time out there. We're going to know for sure this week. And so without that, let's just get into it and let's bring it up. Boom. All right. So as you can see here, I've got the month of June so far, 4 pay periods. And starting from the left is the most recent of weeks. On the top row is my Lyft. On the bottom row is my Uber. Now, one of the questions that I always get asked is which one's better, right? And I see a lot of videos out there trying to, lean you one way or the other. I don't have a preference. Whoever's giving me the request is the guy that I'm with at that moment. But with that said, we've noticed since coming off this break that Lyft has been more popular. I'm not going to say more popular than Uber, but it's been more popular in the Fort Lauderdale area. And that's the area I mainly work. When I do venture north into the Boca West Palm area, I start to see a little shift with Uber. The reasons for this, I have no idea, but I'm going to go with demographic. As you go more north of here, you start to get into a little older crowd and they're used to Uber. Fort Lauderdale is a little more, our age is lower than West Palm, obviously. And so you start to get newer people or younger people or people traveling in from other areas that have discovered Lyft. So, since the pandemic, Lyft has been much better for me. But we got to understand, on Uber, I only have the 2 platforms, XL and Premier. Even though I drive a Cadillac XT6 and it meets the requirements for Lux Black XL and Lux Black on Lyft, it doesn't meet the Premier SUV, which when you go back and look at the rates, and I've done a video, if you want, I'll put a video up here for that. You can check it out. Lyft has given me 4 platforms. Uber's given me 2. So Lyft is giving me more opportunity to earn. And I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. The other thing is that with Uber, I've been struggling to get reservation requests. I did finally get one after spending 3 weeks trying to find out with Uber support why I'm not getting them. I finally got one, paid really well. So if you're able to get reserved rides, take them, because in the summer when it's slow, they're gold. Lyft doesn't give you that opportunity. You can pick from reservations only on the basic level, basic Lyft. I haven't seen any in there for XL, Lux Black XL. It doesn't mean they don't exist. I just haven't seen them. So let's go back. The week just ended yesterday. Well, let's do with this. As you can see across the top row, pretty damn consistent with Lyft. Now, my hours are increasing, right? Hours are definitely, we look here versus here and across the board. Yeah, I'm putting in more hours because I was trying to figure out when the right time to drive was. I've got the locations. I'm good with that. And you need to do the same thing in your area. You're going to have to go through weeks like this to experiment to find out where you need to be to maximize your time and getting ride requests. Okay. So going back, this was the first week, obviously this month, that Uber outperformed Lyft for me, but it's kind of skewed because my last ride last night put me at this $445. I got an $80 ride coming out of Port Everglades at 10 o'clock at night, going to an area called Parkland. And that was about a 30-mile ride, 32-mile ride. So that number put me over the head. We go back a week before, right? We can see about $70 more on Lyft than Uber, but mindful, I've got 4 platforms to work with. The week before that, $126. And then the week before that, it was just a slaughter. Lyft was just super busy that first week of June for me. It was Memorial Weekend too, so don't forget that. So if we look over the last 4 weeks, I've done 700, 725, 771, and then this last week, 845, 850. So in the summer, not doing X, and believe me, I contemplated doing X, but I got to tell you, man, I mean, I give you guys on the X and Comfort platforms, I give you guys all kinds of credit. Your expenses might not be what mine are, but I mean, you guys got to really, really hustle or be in a really, really good area. So hats off to you guys for that. As you can see, I'm doing okay. The truth will be in the results this week. I know when and where now, I believe, unless they switch up the game. So those are my earnings so far. Again, that's XL, Premier on Uber, XL, Lux Black XL on Lyft. And I know I'm still doing stuff wrong. I still got stuff to figure out for the slow period. Okay, so I used to show the stock price for Uber and Lyft. And what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and bring that up because I think it's important, to what's going on. So, all right, there we go. All right, so we're going to start with Lyft here. Now, if you remember in some videos, we were looking at where a good price was to buy into Lyft and Uber. If you're in the stocks, crypto, stuff like that, we know the entire market is down, right? NASDAQ's down 30%. S&P, Dow Jones, they're down 20%. Crypto markets are way down, right? Bitcoin somewhere around 21,000, 20,000 today. And that's fine. That's fine. Because what goes down eventually goes back up. But what I wanted to bring to your attention was this little gap right here with Lyft. All right, so we'll bring these up. So way back in March of 2020, remember when everything got locked down, Lyft and Uber both hit their low points. But recently, with the downing of the market, we see here that we've got what they call a gap. You see this gap right here where there is absolutely no price action, no volume, no nothing. When the market crashed and the inflation reports were coming out, all of this went south, right? But here, Uber doesn't have that. Uber didn't have that gap, which means that the price action and volume was pretty steady for Uber. But for Lyft, this gave us, in my opinion, not financial advice, gave us an opportunity. So what I did is I waited and I went ahead and I bought 20 shares of this at $14.75, right? My thought process is we have a very good opportunity because of this gap. Most stocks will fill that gap at some point. Sometimes it takes a little longer. Sometimes it takes a little shorter. Because we are so far down here in the market, right? And we are so at the bottom. Now, I'm not saying it's the bottom, but what I am saying is it's damn close and nobody will ever time the bottom. So what I did was I looked at Uber, I looked at Lyft, I looked at the overall earnings. So let's show you this. Since Uber and Lyft have gone public, and we know Lyft went first, Lyft has only ever reported one negative earning, and that was the very first one. As you can see, the rest of the way, green, follow the lines, green, 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 green. So they're green, which means that they have enough business. They're doing something right. Whereas with Uber struggles. Uber struggles a lot. Now, granted, Uber's global. Lyft is more national, a couple of spots up in Canada. But when you look at their earnings reports, up, down, right? 4 straight negative. This is when they were at their busiest and the stock was going their highest, right? Up, 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 and yet they couldn't be profitable. So, when we look at our bonuses, right? When they offer us bonuses, this has a lot to do with it. So Uber has already stated they've started scaling back, not only on their bonuses, but on their full-time employees too. I think Dara said something about he wanted to make it a privilege to work at Uber. Okay. And I just don't have the faith right now in Uber to be able to earn enough back in their stock price as I do with Lyft. And I'm going to show you why. So you see this big red channel I got drawn here? Big red downtrend in that channel? Because of that gap, right? Because of the gap, Lyft fell out of that channel. But they have a better opportunity for me to get in at 14.75 to get back to, at the bottom of that channel, it's $23. That's almost $9 a return per share. Whereas with Uber, which never gapped down, still in the channel, hasn't hit its all-time low, right? And its last earnings report was negative. This next earnings report, they look like they're going to be 27 cents again in the hole. And we know Uber has never turned a profit. They're anywhere from $3 to $5 billion loss every single quarter. So for me, even though Uber's in the channel, it's at the bottom of the channel, it'll probably get back up to this baseline, what we call the midline. For me to get in here at 22 just to get back to 28, that's only a $6 gain. So my thought process, from what I'm seeing and from what I've learned over the years in trading, the bigger upside is on Lyft. And if they fall, right, well, we already know where their low point is, right? It's down here around 14.50. So if that's as low as they're going to go, I'm really not losing much money. I'm not putting a big risk there. But with Uber, we know Uber has the potential to come all the way down to 13.50. That's a big difference. So, I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention so that you understand what's going on. If you wanted to invest in your company, there's a Webull link down below. If you don't have a broker, trading on Webull is free. You sign up, you're going to get like 2 or 3 free stocks. Put $100 in there. Go buy yourself a couple of shares of Lyft or Uber, whichever one you feel most comfortable with. And you know what? Just let it sit. Because us as drivers, we have to think broader, right? You hear the term, everybody needs a side hustle. Well, Uber and Lyft is a side hustle. I still have my private company. I still have my private clients. And so that, is my main business. Uber and Lyft, when I'm slow with that, is when I start doing this. But you need to be thinking long-term. And if you're going to invest, like I said, in Uber or Lyft, not financial advice, I'm going with Lyft. I think there's more upside with less risk to the downside. All right. So with that being said, talked your ears off enough. Hey, I appreciate you watching the video. If you don't mind, if you're not subscribed, hit the button, give it a like, give it a comment. I did have somebody tell me I looked drunk in my last video. Sorry, Hoss. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I do vape, but none of the funny stuff. With that being said, thanks again for 500 subscribers. Let's hit 1,000. Peace out.